The 71st pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints drafted TCU running back Kendre Miller. Joining me is Ross Jackson, and Locked On NFL Draft coverage is presented by Ultimate Football GM. You think you can run an NFL franchise? Because I certainly cannot. Visit ultimate-gm.com to play the ultimate NFL GM simulation. Start your dynasty today. And Ross, a running back here with the 71st pick, of course, TCU running back Kendre Miller. How do you feel about it?
I love this selection for the New Orleans Saints. In fact, in my predictive mock draft for them on Mock Draft Monday, right before the draft kicked off earlier this week, I had Kendre Miller going to them. Now, granted, I actually had them trading up for him at the bottom of the third round, but grabbing him at 71, kind of all the same as far as I'm concerned. And so, look, the addition of Kendre Miller gives them another one of those guys that could be a bruising power back along with Jamal Williams, but has the versatility, although wasn't asked to showcase it very much over in TCU with only 26 career catches, but can get outside, get loose, and make some of those catches as well. And also has that long speed, the breakaway speed that the New Orleans Saints want and desire so much in their run game. Even though he didn't get to do all the athletics testing that would give us the numbers to talk about that a whole bunch, you can certainly see it in his tape.
Yeah, and there's another running back that a lot of New Orleans Saints fans wanted the Saints to draft out of Tulane, so a local guy, Tyjae Spears. It's the law firm, and they really love him. Everybody loved him. He became a draft darling at the Senior Bowl, but instead they opted to take Kendre Miller. What kind of went into that decision?
Yeah, look, I was a big fan of Tyjae Spears to the New Orleans Saints as well. I did a whole plea in one of my final episodes leading up to the NFL draft on why it was important to keep Tyjae Spears in New Orleans. And now 10 picks later, he's heading over to the Tennessee Titans, and he has the good grace of being able to learn from one of the NFL's best in Derrick Henry. I think that the reason that the New Orleans Saints went with Kendre Miller instead of Tyjae Spears, even though they had both of those guys on the board, is that they wanted to be able to move the New Orleans Saints offense away from what it got to last year, which was Alvin Kamara having to sort of be the bell cow guy. He had to run all the plays up the middle and also around the edge and try to find ways to get him out in space, all that other stuff. They don't want to deal with that anymore. They want to utilize Alvin Kamara as Alvin Kamara, the satellite back, the guy that can take a 3-yard behind the line of scrimmage pass and turn it into a 60+ yard catch and run against the Green Bay Packers. Sorry, Peter. And so I look at what it is that allows you to be able to maximize him that way. It's finding the other guys that are going to be able to tote the rock in between the tackles. And now you've got a guy like Jamal Williams, who's 29 years old, Alvin Kamara, 29 years old as the season begins. Of course, a potential suspension to Alvin Kamara on the way as well. So Kendre Miller gives you a young and one of the youngest players in this year's draft as well, by the way, guy that can continue to develop, learn all the roles, continue to develop as a pass blocker, as a receiver, but be able to keep Alvin Kamara from having to be the guy that runs 20 times in between the tackles. Now, Jamal Williams, Kendre Miller, those can be those guys, and Alvin Kamara can again be Alvin Kamara in the Saints offense.
Yeah, and the Saints did something in this draft, or, well, didn't do something in this draft that they're kind of known for. They like to operate in the real life NFL like they're playing Madden. No trade up here. Yeah, I mean, come on. No trade up. Was that odd? Is there some kind of logic behind that you kind of know of?
Yeah, I mean, they were really comfortable in the first round. They knew that Brian Brzee, or they had a really good feeling that Brian Brzee was going to fall to them as they waited it out at 29. I was very surprised, though, by the stick and pick at 71. We talked to Dennis Allen after the draft, after the draft second day was done, and he told us, well, we tried to, it just didn't work. So they were very interested in moving up. Whether or not Kendre Miller was the player that they were still looking to move up for ahead of 71. Maybe they wanted to move up for Isaiah Foskey to make sure that they got him before that eventual edge rusher run started. Maybe move up a little bit in terms of getting up before 40. We know the way that the NFL draft second day works. Everybody goes away, they recalibrate, they look at their big board, they make a bunch of phone calls, and then everybody trades out of the top 10 in the second day. It's the way that the NFL draft goes. I think the Saints probably wanted to be a part of that, but thankfully, it looks like the board fell in a way that they didn't necessarily need to make those leaps. And now they get to go in with 5 picks in the third day. But I don't think that they'll make all 5 of those selections. That trade up is coming.
And I mean, they're going to make the trade up, like you just mentioned. everybody on day 2 is just like, hey, we need to trade up into the top 10 Titans. That's just how it goes. But this was Ross Jackson with Locked On Saints, where you can get the best Saints coverage every single day. This man's a machine. Like he just, I don't know. I know he drinks coffee. I don't know what else he consumes that allows him to produce the way he produces. This is Ross Jackson with Locked On Saints. Get the best Saints coverage with Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.